I'll give you the floor on Tom Brady. Howie Long, what do you think of his career? Go for it.
Well, I don't think it will ever be duplicated.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. To be great for that prolonged a period of time through, if we went through, and I've done this exercise before it became absurd, where he was in his 40s. The number of offensive linemen he played with in New England, the number of running backs, the number of tight ends, the number of wide receivers, the iterations of coaching staffs, with the exception of Bill, and there were some kind of constants there, but for him to, and from a style standpoint, we had his first Super Bowl was the Super Bowl after 9/11. And we had it down in New Orleans,
mm-hmm.
and it was a game that, if you looked at every game film you could possibly watch, you couldn't make a case for New England to win that football game. And Terry Bradshaw and his Forrest Gump kind of, brilliance made the statement that, in a year like this, with all this country's been through, how can't you pick a team called the Patriots? And I remember it stands out to me in the halftime show with Bono and the whole thing, and Tom's first kind of stroke of masterpiece, taking the drive down at the end of the game, asked to do different things as he was throughout the course of his career. The funny thing was, typically when you get older, you're asked to do less and you manage the game, and that certainly hasn't been the case with him. I think the thing, to me, like a lot of players, and particularly a player that played as long as Tom and had won as much as Tom, and the reason why it will not be duplicated, were there people who threw the ball better? Yes. Better athletes? Yes. Check. We all saw the combine footage. What made Tom special was his will, his heart, and his head. And that's what made Peyton special. And, Tom was able to wring every drop of football out of that mind and that body, that heart, that he could. And, we wish these guys could play forever. And I think this is about as close to forever as you're going to get out of a quarterback in the NFL. It will never be duplicated.
I agree. And again, the thing I keep pointing out here, Howie, and I'm so appreciative of you pointing out the origin, how it did begin on such a national stage with the whole country, with hearts and throats, watching a football game in that stadium just a few months after the attacks of 9/11, and wondering whether this country could ever hold such a big event, a target. There's no other way to put it. And then the fact that he performed the way that he did, and then the legend was born. But what he's done as a 40-year-old, that's insane, man. I mean, the numbers are insane. Ken Stabler's numbers of his career, I was pointing out, and they're going to share a bust room with him and you, together forevermore. His passing yards and career passing touchdowns as a 40-year-old are akin to Stabler's career. I mean, come on. This is insane.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Different times. I understand different times, but it's.
Yeah, it's so challenging. I mean, Terry will be and Terry loves Kenny Stabler, and he's also loved Brady's career, and he'll tell you flat out, look, I played in Super Bowls where I threw the ball 21 times. I mean, it was a different era. When you think about Swan and Stallworth at wide receiver, you could measure wide receiver numbers then versus now, and we're in sub packages 76% of the time. And Tom saw, it's so fascinating about Tom's career, the arc in the breadth and scope of his career. It went through so many different iterations of offensive philosophies and so many different players, people talk about chemistry and, how long can we hold the group together. The group was Bill and Tom. And the situation he walked into down in Tampa Bay, and you remember the first 5-6 games, and then, there was the Chicago game, and there was the bye week, and it finally dawned on them, wait a second, we, no risk it, no biscuit, we want to throw the ball down the field, but let's do it out of play-action pass with extra bodies and protection, and we can do everything we want to do. Let's adapt the offense to Tom. And you had a great defense, and for him to win that Super Bowl was nothing short of amazing. For someone to even embark on, it's climbing Everest and, and doing it multiple times and then doing it again and again and again and again. And it takes so much out of you, and there's so many injuries or free agency or, salary cap cuts or things that happen around you or coaching moves. In order for you to be that successful and that great and to win that much, the one constant is Tom.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask one last question of you. Is Brady going to be your teammate? When does that happen? What are you hearing? What do you got for me on that, Howie?
I sat down and I looked at those numbers. There were 2 times when numbers really screwed me up. Chris, somebody had told me that Journey, Don't Stop Believin', was the #1 downloaded song, and it was like 10 billion.
Yeah. Okay.
And then someone said what Tom was going to make at Fox, and I called Chris up. I said, do these zeros, what does that mean? Are you kidding me?
Right. So I guess I'll be your teammate is what you're saying.
Hey, listen, if he wants to be, he can be whatever he wants to be. He's got a parking spot.
Okay.
He's good.
Okay. Sounds good. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern for free.